Just waiting 1 second, councillors, while the Mayor's IT connection kicks in.
Can you pedal, Damien, so he gets there?
Just waiting for you, Mayor. As soon as you come live, we can kick off.
Looked like he fell off his chair. I hope he didn't.
It looks like he's on pause, David.
Yes,
Is there
so
any...
we are live now, councillors. If you're comfortable, just otherwise I'll hand over to you, Deputy Mayor. We just wait a minute or so for the Mayor just to see if he's got some IT issues at his end. If councillors are happy, we'll just pause for a minute or two. I don't think, if you're comfortable with that, Deputy Mayor.
Sorry,
Oh, here he is.
councillors. I lost my connect.
We're live and we're ready. We're in your hands, Mayor.
Sorry, I apologise. Something temporarily happened to my connection. So welcome to the council meeting of the 3rd of August 2021. And as part of the rule, of course, for this meeting, before we start, we have to do a roll call. So, councillors, of course, you need to acknowledge that you can see and hear me before we start. So I'll start on the left of my screen. Councillor Ripper.
Mayor, I can see and hear.
Councillor Wood.
Mayor, I can see and hear you.
Councillor Rossetti.
Thank you, Mayor. I can see and hear you.
Councillor Crosley.
Yes, I can see and hear you, Mayor.
Councillor Marr.
I can see and hear you, Mayor.
Councillor Bye.
Yes, Mayor, I can see and hear you.
Councillor Tatterson.
Yes, Mayor, I can see and hear you.
Councillor McKenzie.
Yes, Mayor, I can hear and see you.
And I can hear and see all of you, councillors. Thank you. I think that's. I think I covered everybody. I hope. Yes. Now, just to bear with me for a moment, I'm a little bit disorganised this afternoon. You find it hard to believe. Yeah. So, just in relation to the council meeting information, as we are conducting this meeting during a COVID period when it's impossible for us to meet, the Minister's Good Practice Guidelines MGPG1 virtual meetings issued by the Minister for Local Government will apply. Pursuant to Section 87 of the Local Government Act 2020, these guidelines ensure that local government decision making can continue in line with COVID-19 restrictions. And further details can be found on the Local Government Victoria website. Now, these guidelines took effect on the 1st of May 2020 and will remain in place through to the 26th of April 2022. While members of the public cannot attend this meeting in person, we have provided options for you to interact with us virtually via our council meetings page on the Wellington Shire Council website. You are able to interact with council in two ways. Email a specific question or comment relating to a particular council agenda item no later than 1 p.m. on the day of the council meeting, or for general questions to council via the online web form early in this meeting to ensure that your questions can be dealt with at the end of the meeting. While we maintain a virtual way of gathering, we thank you for your ongoing support. Next, we have the Acknowledgement of Country. We acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land, the Gunai people, and pay respects to their elders, past and present. And now the prayer. Almighty God, we ask your blessing upon the Wellington Shire Council, its councillors, officers, staff and their families. We pray for your guidance in our decisions so that the true good of the Wellington Shire Council may result to the benefit of all residents and community groups. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. So the next item we have is the apologies, and we have no apology for this afternoon's meeting. Next item is declaration of conflicts of interest. I don't believe we have any declarations of conflict of interest today. No, thank you. Confirmation of the minutes from the previous council meeting. Someone to move.
Yes, Mayor.
That was you. Yeah, Councillor Wood. Thank you very much, Councillor Wood. Do we have a seconder? Oh, hang on.
I haven't moved it yet.
You're going to move the motion first, aren't you? Yeah, all right. I'll get that right by the time I finish my turn. So please go ahead, Councillor Wood.
I move that Council adopt the minutes and resolutions of the ordinary council meeting of the 20th of July 2021.
Thank
Happy
you.
to second that, Mayor. Councillor Byatt.
Yeah, thank you very much, Councillor Byatt. Is there any opposition to that recommendation? No. I'll declare that carried. Having no further comments there, Councillor Wood.
Further, thank you.
Thank you. The next agenda item is business arising. We don't have any from previous meetings at this stage. Next item is acceptance of late and urgent items. I'm not aware of any urgent or late items. Notices of motion is next. There are no current notices of motion. Next item is 7.1 outstanding petitions or receipt of petitions. There is a petition lying on the table from the last meeting in relation to tree planting in Longford, and that is currently being considered, and I believe there will be a report probably at the next meeting on that petition. The next item on the agenda is invited addresses, presentations or acknowledgements. I believe you may have something, Councillor Ripper.
Yes, I do. Thank you, Mayor and councillors. There's new town entrance signs are part of council's new branding and marketing called the Middle of Everywhere, which I'm sure quite a few or a lot of Wellington Shire residents are already aware of. Signs include Sale, Maffra, Stratford, Yarram, Port Albert, Hayfield and Dargo. In today's Gippsland Times on page 5, take it out of their letterbox or pick it up from the Gippsland Times, you'll be able to see the sign. The particular one that has been featured is Rosedale. Now, the concept of these signs, to get to where you've got to today, to be able to see those signs, which in fact I'm fortunate to have one within about 2 minutes walk of where I live in Stratford, has taken a team, a very, very busy team to get to this stage. So I'd like to congratulate all those who started with the concept and has now ended with the workmen placing those particular signs. So the signs include a welcome to the Gunai-Kurnai country, which has been agreed to by Glawak on the sign. So for all those coming through, all our visitors, all those who live in the Wellington Shire, you'll be able to see the new signs in the middle of everywhere in the Wellington Shire. And this is this is not actually the sign, but part of this is on the sign. So I would engender all those to open up the Gippy Times, have a look and see our new signs. Thanks, Mayor. Thanks, councillors.
Yeah, thank you very much, Councillor Ripper. The next item is questions on notice, and we don't have any questions on notice. The next item of the agenda is Delegates Reports. I believe we might have a Delegates Report.
Yes, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Mackenzie.
Thank you, Mayor. The recent community advisory meeting held by the Star of the South in Morwell, and as the council delegate during my leave, our General Manager of Development, Brent McAllister, attended on my behalf. The Star of the South team are now looking to present their environment effects statement to both the state and federal governments, and requested submissions from council in regard to support of this next step. It gives me much pleasure to advise the community that council has given their support on July 23, 2021, and wish to read out the following letter to that effect. The title is Draft Scoping Requirements for Star of the South Offshore Wind Farm Environment Effects Statement. Thank you for the opportunity for council to lodge a submission to the current exhibition of the draft scoping requirements for the Environment Effects Statement and associated material for the proposed Star of the South offshore wind farm project. Council's main interest in the project relates to transportation, local procurement and job opportunities, and ensuring that any adverse environment impacts will be appropriately mitigated against by relevant regulatory instruments. Given the significant economic benefits which will potentially result from the project, Council supports progression of a carefully regulated offshore wind farm project. Significantly, local procurement and employment benefits are expected to arise in the Wellington Shire, with further diversification of the economic base of the region also seen as a positive to support future social and economic well-being. Council would specifically request that all environmental issues raised by relevant authorities and community members are carefully assessed and appropriately mitigated by the proponent, should the state government approve the project. It is noted that the current EES process provides the appropriate assessment framework for this to occur. In conclusion, Council supports the progression of the process to facilitate the project, subject to appropriate regulatory consideration to consult and controls. Signed, Brett McAllister. This letter of support identifies Gippsland and, more importantly, Wellington as wishing to partner with renewable energy corporations that will provide power to Victorians for many generations to come. And as this is an Olympic month, once again, Star of the South have shown to be of gold medal standards for their community engagement, and look forward to the development of this project in the coming months and years ahead. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councillor Mackenzie, and yes, great sort of reference to the Olympics there. Well done, good work. Okay, moving on from the Delegates Report, we will now move to item 11.1, and that is the Assembly of Councillors.
Happy to move that, Mayor.
Please go ahead.
I move that Council note and receive the attached Assembly of Councillor records for the period 12th of July 2021 to the 25th of July 2021.
Happy to second the Mayor. Scott.
Thank you, Councillor Rossetti. Is there any opposition to that recommendation? If not, I will declare it carried. Councillor Bye.
All good, Mayor.
Thank you. Next item is 12.1, is the May 2021 Planning Decisions Report.
I'll move that, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Marr. Move it. Go ahead.
I move that Council note the report on recent planning permit trends and planning application determinations between 1st of May and 31st of May 2021.
Thank you. Got a seconder?
Happy to second that, Mayor. Councillor Crossley.
Thank you very much, Councillor Crossley. Is there any opposition to the adoption of that recommendation? No. I'll declare it carried. Councillor Marr.
I don't have anything further to add, Mayor, other than the planning team under the recent lockdown circumstances, along with everyone else at Council, have been doing a really good job under the limitations and circumstances that they've had under COVID. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Marr. Item 13.1 is the final cost certificate for Cooper Crescent Maffra Special Charge Scheme.
Happy to move that, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councillor Crossley. Please proceed.
I move that Council adopt the final cost certificate for the Cooper Crescent Special Charge Street Construction Scheme, Scheme number 2001, and 2 Council officers prepare the final apportionment amount due from property owners for the Cooper Crescent Special Charge Street Construction Scheme, Scheme number 2001, based on the total levy amount of $54,000.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder?
Councillor Wood.
Happy to second that, Mayor.
Councillor Wood, I think beats you by a short half voice, Councillor Bye. Thank you, Councillor Wood. Is there any opposition to the adoption of that recommendation? If not, I declare it carried. Councillor Crossley.
Just a quick word. Cooper Crescent is in Maffra, a lovely little street up near the access to the wetlands area. A really beautiful spot there. Quite a tricky sort of street, goes up and down, so I could see where there was a fair bit of drainage issues to deal with in that construction. Had a look in the process, did a great job. Came in lower than budget, which is really good, so we'll be able to reallocate some of those funds there to, swings and roundabouts to other street scheme projects of the council's contribution. Under our residential road or street scheme that we accepted in 2019 as a council policy, we've got a flat rate of $6,000 per household as a set amount for residential blocks when we're doing these schemes. It is at a discount because of the council's contribution, so that flat rate stands for this total levy amount. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Crosley. The next item is 13.2, road closure in Carrajung.
I'm happy to move that, Mayor.
Please proceed, Councillor Marr.
I move that 1, the property owners of Lot 1 PS 408860Y be advised in writing that they are required to enter into a Section 173 agreement under the Planning and Environment Act on their title abutting the proposed part road to be closed. In entering into this agreement, the owners, within 3 months of the road sales process being finalised with the Department of Environment, Land, Water and Planning, also known as DELP, agree to consolidate the title created for the road with their title for Lot 1, a plan of subdivision 408860Y. On execution of this Section 173 agreement on title, Council agrees to the following. 2. Pursuant to Section 349 of the Land Act 1958, Council resolves to give its concurrence to the closing part of Government Road abutting PC 36107-4S, Lot 1 of Plan of Subdivision 408860Y, and Lot 1 of TP 344240 in the parish of Carrajung, shown red on the attached plans, and paragraph 3 is read.
Thank you, Councillor Marr. Have we got a seconder?
I'll second that, Mayor, if you like.
Thank you very much, Councillor Ripper. Is there any opposition to the adoption of that recommendation? No? If not, I declare it carried. Councillor Marr.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. The current owners on Old Carrajung Road at Carrajung have been in discussions with DELP with proposing to close part of the government road which abuts their property, and they wish to purchase it. They currently have a grazing licence for that part of the government road as well. Part of DELP's process requires council approval to do this. So council's requiring that a Section 173 agreement be placed on title and that the owners agree to consolidate the title of the road, largely for 2 reasons. One is that the property is in a farm zone, and council's policy is not to create smaller allotments within a farm zone, and therefore that is why the consolidation is being recommended. It also eliminates an existing issue that there is a weatherboard house on their property that actually crosses over the title boundaries. So by consolidating this, it would just tick off two things at once, and it can also be followed up under the Section 173 that the landowners do this. So thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Councillor Marr. Item 13.3 is consideration of a delegated authority for the upgrade of the Seacombe boat ramp.
I'm happy to do that. Thank you.
Please proceed.
I move that 1, Council delegate authority to the Chief Executive Officer to enter into contract 2021-073 Seacombe boat ramp upgrade within budget, and 2, the Chief Executive Officer provide details to Council of the contract awarded under this delegation.
Thank you, Councillor Crosley. Is there a seconder for that?
Happy to second that, Mayor.
Oh. I don't know, did you? Oh, all right, you might have just got the louder voice, Councillor By. I'll accept your second. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mayor.
Is there any opposition to the adoption of that recommendation? No, if not, I'm happy to declare it carried. Councillor Crosley.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a very welcome development with the Seacombe boat ramp upgrade. This is with the support of an over $400,000 state government boating safer boating facilities grant and 79k from the ratepayers from the council funds. But it's while we're doing this delegation, it's just a matter of inconvenient timing of when we need to sign off of these contracts to get the work done, and the fact that our next council meeting is not until the 17th of August. So just to get that moving, and as it says, we'll receive a report on the award. It'll only be, the contracts will be awarded within our set budget, and as I say, we'll receive a report later. It's just to cover up that, to make up for the timing of our next council meeting.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Crosley. Item 13.4 is also consideration of a delegated authority for Stephenson's Park's change room redevelopment.
Happy to move that, Mayor.
Thank you. Go ahead, please, Councillor By.
Thanks, Mayor. I move that Council 1 delegate authority to the Chief Executive Officer to enter into contract 2022-001 Stephenson Park Change Room redevelopment within budget, and 2, the Chief Executive Officer provide details to Council of the contract awarded under this delegation.
Thanks, Councillor By. Do I have a seconder?
I'm happy to second that, Mayor. Councillor Marr.
Yeah, thank you very much, Councillor Marr. Is there any opposition to the adoption of that recommendation? If not, I declare the recommendation carried. Councillor By.
Thanks, Mayor. This is a similar one. It's more of a timing issue. What this project is, it's a multi-million-dollar project to one of our, I think it is the most used recreation area that we have. For sport. We tendered, opened on the 28th of June and closed on the 27th of July. So when we evaluate the tenure, it's going to fall in between council meetings. So by delegating the authority to the CEO, we can get this project up and running, because it is quite a large project. We're taking the top story off to make the facility more user-friendly rather than having upstairs, downstairs. We're adding a multi-purpose room, and we're adding female-friendly change rooms, a first aid room, I believe. We're going to have a disabled toilet. The netballers are quite excited because they're going to have some change rooms as well, which they haven't had before. So it's a huge upgrade to a great facility that is there already. But this project wants to be done before the start of the football season. Cricket have agreed that they will share the rooms of the recently updated football change rooms or social club rooms. So it's a matter of just making sure we can push this project through, and every week counts at this stage so we can get it done, because it's quite a big project. And as we've said already, that it'll come back to us in a report, and that'll be great. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councillor By. The next item on the agenda is item 14.1, the Council Committees and Committees of Management highlights. Mover for that, Councillor Crosley.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that Council receives the reports highlighting activities and achievements of various Council advisory committees and community facilities, committees of management for the period March to June 2021.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder for that recommendation?
I'm happy to second that, Councillor Marr.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Marr. Is there any opposition to the adoption of that recommendation? If not, I'll declare that carried. Councillor Crosley.
Thank you, Mayor. There were some actually fairly important meetings over this time. The Municipal Emergency Management Planning Committee was on the 27th of May, where Councillor Wood and myself attended. And that's with over 17 agencies represented from VicPol, the Red Cross, the DELP, CFA, as I say, all of the agencies that are involved in emergency events, of which we've unfortunately had a few, and certainly mopping up from the flood and storm event, which really had a big impact on our community, and I'm sure is still impacting some. As well as that meeting to get an update on what was happening there, we had a number of very important documents that lead us to the good management and responses to these events, which was the endorsement of the Municipal Emergency Management Planning Committee Terms of Reference, the Wellington Municipal Relief and Recovery Subcommittee Terms of Reference, and the Wellington Municipal Relief and Recovery Plan, and the Wellington Municipal COVID-19 Pandemic Sub-Plan. All of these are very important to have the planning so we can adequately support and respond to these events with our community. Another interesting thing was that obviously the community is keen when we are able to get back and be active with sort of record attendances at the Gippsland Regional Sports Complex, so with 27,000 visitors. So obviously there's pent-up desire of the community to get out and get active, and so that's great that we were able to, and hopefully we can do it more often. Another really important area is the Business Boost reference group, which has been working really well and strongly, and Councillor Wood, I noticed, attended that. I don't know, Councillor Byers been engaged in that committee as well to get the businesses back on board and support them in these difficult times so they can pivot and respond, and make sure they also have access to the various government support, both state and federal. And we've got an officer, Kate, now employed to support them in that way. And also we've had a couple of team members who have been supporting our businesses to make sure that they are COVID safe and make sure they're complying. And they're really there to support. They're not there with a big stick. They're really, because all our businesses are keen and eager to make sure they're compliant so they can keep open and keep our community safe. So congratulations there. The other really exciting thing is that the Archibald Prize exhibition tickets are now available to purchase. So people can go online. There'll be links both on the Art Gallery Facebook page and the Wellington Shires page, and there's the Archibald Prize Gippsland Gallery.com.au, I think. But yeah, really exciting opportunity, and I know the businesses are on board of where they can optimise the visitors so they can actually have some. They're aware of who's coming, and hopefully that the spread of the dollar from the visit to the gallery will spread throughout the Shire. So I know that our team's working very closely to all of the communities, not just in Sale, but all around. So we hope people take the opportunity to see all of Wellington when they come up for the Archibald. The other thing that I thought was worth noting was that the Combined Halls Network, haven't met in person for about 18 months, so they were very keen to come together. They work really cohesively and effectively for their community, and to work all together to optimise their sharing of information, and within that, Light Hayfield Hall Committee is really kindly offered to collate and advertise and distribute calendar events throughout all of the Wellington halls. So congratulations to them. And I did notice, as being a member on the Carwell Rec Reserve Committee, that there was updates to say that there was photos of the new oval lights that were supported by state grant and the council funds had arrived at the Oval and will be installed soon. And it's just to reflect that because of that investment, both in the club and in for the Oval lights, the club itself is able to invest in improving and installing new LED lights and poles for the netball, and also use the funds to install nets at the back of the goals. So it was really, and they've severely upgraded the kitchen to a modern standard. So it's really, when we invest in a community, the community invests in themselves as well. So thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Councillor Crosley. The next item on the agenda is item 14.2, is an update of recent quick response grants. Need a mover for that recommendation?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to move that.
Please proceed, Councillor Ripper.
I'd like to move that Council notes information regarding successful and unsuccessful applications received under the Quick Response Grant Scheme, QRGS, for the period March to June 2021. As an attachment, Quick Response Grants applications March 2021 to June 2021.
Thank you, Councillor Ripper. Do I have a seconder?
Thank you, Councillor Crossley.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Crossley. Is there any opposition to the adoption of that recommendation? No? I'll declare it carried. Councillor Ripper.
Thank you, Mayor. It's always good to talk about when the Shire are giving out money. So I'm really pleased to be able to move this document. This Quick Response Grant Scheme aims to fulfil community needs by providing a quick turnaround for community grants funding, and provides an opportunity for the community to access funding outside normal community assistance grants timeline. Individuals can apply for a quick response grant of up to $500 under the individual sponsorship category. Not-for-profit community groups operating in the Wellington Shire can apply for $2,000 from the three minor community fund categories, and those three categories are events, projects and facilities. So applications included in the council report were assessed between March and June, and those applications of course have to meet the criteria, and if anyone's unsure, please contact the council, who then will put those relevant applicants in touch with our staff member, because the Shire have money and they want to give it out to the community. So please be positive when you are thinking of applying for a grant. Now, these applications have been funded through the Community Assistance Grant Scheme within the community, facilities and emergencies, formerly Community Wellbeing Budget. A total of $66,031 was allocated to the successful Quick Response Grants applications from March to June this year. I'll just pick out a couple of where these are gone, just to give those people who may be thinking, and they can go online and have a look at these to see if they believe they fit within the criteria. So the successful minor community events, which was of $2,000, was the Gippsland Water Dragon, a social dragon boat paddling event from Port of Sale to the Swing Bridge and return. The Boysdale Bryaglon Junior Football Netball Club. Multi-golden guitar country music artist Amber Lawrence and Catherine Britt, Loves and Lies Tour 2021. The event assisted with raising funds for the junior football and to purchase a football scoreboard. Now, I had an absolute privilege to buy a ticket and go along to that night, which was held at the Bryaglon football ground. And it was run within the COVID, and I tell you, what a model to see how it was run. It was an absolutely fantastic night. I so enjoyed it. It was freezing cold, but it was still very enjoyable. We have, go on here to, and we'll go on. Now, successful minor, there's some minor community facilities. Woodside Beach Surf Lifesaving Club improved kitchen facilities through the purchase and installation of a commercial oven, which I'm sure will be very, very well used. So it just goes on, and there were some unsuccessful ones, but please don't give up. You just may have needed to cross an eye, not an eye, I should say. That's why you did. Don't give up, but speak with the staff at the Shire, and you may just have forgotten an area where you did fit into the criteria. So thanks very much, Mayor.
Okay, thank you very much, Councillor Ripper, for that report. The quick response to grants are a very important part of our community activities, and yes, congratulations to all the successful committees. The next, so that basically includes all the agenda items apart from further gallery and online comments. Mr. CEO, do we have any online comments?
None today, Mayor.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, I do believe there's a need to go into closed.
I'm happy to move the motion there, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Please proceed, Councillor Rossetti.
Thank you, Mayor. I move the meeting be closed to public pursuant to Section 66(2) of the Local Government Act 2020 to consider matters under Section 66(5)(b) as defined by Section 3(1), being F, personal information.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder?
Councillor Wood.
Thank you, Councillor Wood. Is there any opposition to the adoption of that recommendation? No, I declare it carried. We'll now move into closed session.